Hi everybody, my name is Shifty from Shifty Outdoors on YouTube. I am also one of the admins for Utah Ice Fishing Fanatics on Facebook. And if you've ever seen a Shifty Outdoors video, this isn't going to be anything like anything you've seen me do before. I'd like to say this is a pay it forward video. Now, I love ice fishing and I also like watching YouTube. But the first part of every ice season, I find myself going into YouTube and I'm searching for those videos on basically how to save my life when I'm ice fishing. This video I'd like to say is surviving after falling through the ice. So here's my story. It was around the last week of April of this year, 2023, about midnight, and I'm in my bed. And I see a post from Facebook, and it's from a friend of mine named Ben. And Ben just came off the reservoir and said he killed it. Had a great success that night. And I thought, okay, he just posted something, so I know he's up. So I contacted him and I said, hey, I understand you had a great evening. How was the ice? It's probably the most important question everybody asks all season long. And he goes, it was awesome. It was great, probably 30 inches. That's really unusual. You know, end of the season, tons of ice, but it was a really weird season, right? A lot of snow, a lot of ice. So I thought, okay, well, how's the edges? I was kind of concerned because that's the first place it gets soft. He goes, edges weren't a problem. It was awesome. Matter of fact, we took our snowmobiles out. I'm thinking, okay, Shifty, get packed. Get packed, load the Smitty sled up, take as little as you can. I wasn't going to take the big heavy tent. I wasn't going to take everything that weighed a lot. And I wasn't going to take my whole fishing tackle box. I just took what I needed. Well, I got there at 6:30 in the morning. I looked in from the parking lot and I could see down the reservoir. I could see the gray ice. And I first thought to myself, stay away from the ice, or at least the gray ice. And we'll talk about colors of ice in a minute. But I went down there and I can see a lot of tracks from other people. So I followed those tracks straight out. I even passed the open water. I was way past the open water. I got way past and I thought, you know what, seems like a pretty good place, but in my mind I kept thinking, I think there's going to be bigger fish where this water's coming in. Kept thinking it makes sense. There's a lot of heavy water flow, stirring up some bugs. You know what, I'll bet some big fish there. But there's some big fish there, whoops. And so I took the Smitty sled off. I have a little harness that I pull the sled with, and I undid it. Started walking towards the open water. Now I was only going to go about 65 feet, and I'm 150 yards away from it. So I unhooked the Smitty sled, and I walked approximately, if I had to guess, easily under 10 feet away. And in between steps, everything just gave, and I dropped into the water over my head. And it was as cold as you think it was. And, you know, they talk about this cold shock response. Man, it's real. It was cold. And the first thing I did is I went into panic mode, and that is not a good thing. I hit this panic mode and everything. I'm just trying to save my own life. And the first thing that goes through my mind is I won't see my wife again, and I won't see my children. Come on, Shifty, don't get emotional. And I thought my grandkids too. I'll never see them. And then I started thinking of all the videos I watched. Shifty, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to stay calm, get your hands upon the ice, secure yourself, and then you're supposed to wait until your body regulates. And let me tell you, it's true, your body does regulate. And I've heard it takes up to a minute. It was less than 45 seconds for me. Now I got my big heavy parka on, and I've got my big pants on, a big heavy Sorel boots, and I mean, I've got a lot of weight on because it was cold, right? I fell through. The first thing I started thinking of is, okay, you're on the ice, wait it out, and I did. I got calm, and I started thinking to myself, what are you supposed to do now? I remembered what I'd seen in the videos. Once you're secure, you kick your legs and you start paddling. Just like if you as a young child and you're learning how to swim and you're grabbing the edge of the swimming pool and you start kicking your legs. When you do that, your body starts to level out. Once you start leveling out, you can get your ice picks. Now I had my ice picks on this day, and I got my ice picks and I was able to crawl out. But there's something that none of the videos talked about, and this is why I kind of want to go over this. I had the ice picks on. Now, I didn't have it going down my sleeve. I just had it going around my neck, and I thought, I'm just going to put these into my jacket or my parka right in the pockets. So when I went in and I started regulating, ready to come out, or when I was there, I reached in my pocket to grab these ice picks, and this is what they didn't explain. Do you know what was in my pocket? A whole lot of slush and water and snow and ice, and it was like burying through kind of a softer concrete. And so I finally got the ice pick and I got it up on the ice, grabbed the other one. So I reached in my pocket and I'm digging through all that snow and ice, and I get to it. I once again secured myself, kicked, got out, crawled, but before I did that, I tried to do what a lot of you are probably going to do. I tried to lift myself straight up, and all it did was break the ice down. And I started the whole thing again. When I finally got the ice picks and I hit the side, I did it too quick, so I was in panic mode. You got to stay away from panic mode. You cannot, you got to stay calm. Easier said than done, I get it. But once you get on there, do everything slowly. When you get on the ice, don't panic and hurry and run away. Get to safer ice. I wanted to hurry and pop out. It didn't work. I kept falling through the ice. I positioned my body, remembering, well, I just came from this way. I know it's safer. So I positioned my body. I got out on the ice, and I kept low. You got to keep low until you feel like you're at least on good quality ice, and that's exactly what I did. Now, remember, let's go back to this panic mode. If you're in this panic mode and you're struggling and everything else, man, you're burning a lot of energy. And what happens when you burn a lot of energy, you get weaker. What happens when you get weaker? Eventually you start sinking a little bit further into the ice. And I don't want to tell you what could happen after that. So you've really got to get to a less stressed area. You got to get in this state of mind where everything is okay. It's going to pass. I know the excitement's going to go away, and I'm going to get out of here. And that's exactly what happens, honestly. So let me do this. There's basically 3 tools that come to my mind that I think are really designed to do nothing more than just save your life. Now, I didn't have this the day I went under the ice. And this is a spud bar. Some call it a chisel. But the spud bar is actually one of the best tools you can get. I bought this after my accident. Now, you can get them in different sizes. This one's a 62 or a 64 inch. I bought it at Cabela's / Bass Pro, $39.99, and I thought, that's a heck of a deal for saving my life. But I don't know if you can see this. This one is one that kind of can detach. It comes in 2 pieces. Now, it is solid. It's a good, this whole base right here, solid steel, and it's heavy. But it can be compact because it does split apart. The second thing, and this gets credit for saving my life, and it's these hand picks. Now, I'm not here to tell you what brand to get because they all work. But the reason I like HT, number 1, it's got a soft rubber handle. It's easy to grip and it doesn't slide out of your hands. The other thing is it's retractable. I don't know if I'm strong enough to pull this back, but if you can see that, it's got a steel nail in it, and it is sharp. And when it hits the ice, the spike goes into the ice, and it's easy to grip and pull yourself out. I'm sure they all do fine. I wanted the retractable because if I was going to have it outside my pocket, I didn't want it to hurt my clothing. So all of them are good. Make sure you have a pair. Truly, this is the product that saved my life. The third thing is rope. I know this isn't rope. This is called mule tape. I love this mule tape for a lot of reasons. This right here is easy to compact. This is over 150 feet. I think for the most part, 50 feet should be ample on any ice rescue. 50 feet's good because if someone breaks down, you need to get towed, or you need to tow somebody, it's strong enough to do that. I used this once on the elk hunt, and I pulled an elk up a cliff from a 4-wheeler, and it didn't break. It's got some good strength to it, but you need something to give assistance to somebody. If your buddy goes through or somebody else and you come upon somebody who's struggling, you'll want to have something like this. Doesn't cost a lot of weight, doesn't cost a lot of room, but it's very effective. Anyway, I won't continue to bore you if this is boring to you, but it's important to me to help others. Like I say, it's a pay it forward. I lived through this and I want to help someone else live through it. But I appreciate your time. Those of you who watch the Shifty Outdoors videos, that's a plus. I appreciate that too. But enjoy the ice. Don't be afraid. Be knowledgeable. Be educated. Know what you're getting into. The one thing I did want to say is color matters. Okay? I mentioned the color of gray ice. We're going to get into that. But the best ice you want to be on, the strongest ice. I know, no ice is safe. But the best quality ice is called clear blue ice or clear ice. And that's the strongest. Okay? And I'm not here to tell you exactly how many inches is safe. But you've seen the stats. If it's less than 4 inches, you shouldn't have any reason to be on that ice. If you get into 5 or 6, 2 people can stand. 4 inches, yeah, you can walk on it if it's good clear ice. If it's 5 or 6 inches, you and a buddy can be on that ice. When you get into the 8 inches, you can get into snowmobiles and four-wheelers. And if you get into 12 inches, they say a small car or a small truck. And then any more than that, you can get a full-size truck. And I've never seen a full-size truck on the ice anywhere. I have seen a car at Deer Creek, kind of unusual. Don't know how they got it off, but I don't recommend it. Anyway, color does matter. Stay away from gray. Gray is what caused me my issues. Generally, gray means it's either weaker or there might be a spring underneath you. In my case, the water was coming through the ice because it was melting from the bottom up. That water was coming out of that tributary so fast and at a rapid pace, it started melting the ice underneath it. And I wasn't aware of that. I just figured it was more slush on the top. But you're right, you can't trust any of the ice, but stay away from gray. If you're like me and you tamper out and you go through gray, you might be in the same situation that I found myself in. Anyway, keep fishing, smile, have a great time, be safe, and fish on.